This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
On the news this evening, Rivers State House of Assembly elects more principal officers. Senate to hold valedictory session on Saturday. President Tinubu meets oil marketers over subsidy removal. Human rights lawyer says police can compel citizens to assist in arrest of wanted person. Civil servants in Rivers State oppose reduction in workdays over fuel subsidy removal. Ride-hailing drivers begin nationwide strike. On the foreign scene, communities flooded after dam breach in Ukraine. I am Kaladakuru Batbor. Peace is the path to the prosperity of a nation. Let peace reign. Good evening. The 10th Rivers State House of Assembly has elected more principal officers. The election took place at the first legislative sitting of the House. The Speaker of the House, Martin Samuele, began plenary with the introduction of the legislative agenda for today. The member representing Awode East Constituency 2, Eyi Edison, was elected as leader of the House, while the member representing Okrika Constituency, Linda Stewart, was elected as deputy leader. The lawmaker representing Akukutoro Constituency 2, Major Jack, was elected chief whip of the House, and Ofix Kagbang of Andoni State Constituency was elected deputy whip. Correspondent Sibi Ruwari reports that the House later adjourned plenary to the 19th of June. In the meantime, the leadership of the Rivers State House of Assembly is appealing for support from members of the Parliamentary Staff Association of Nigeria, PASAN. The Speaker of the House, Martin Samuele, shortly after today's sitting, urged members of the association to ensure the House succeeds. The Speaker also said lawmakers are focused on fulfilling the expectations of Rivers people. He said the House will soon come up with their legislative agenda that will accommodate everyone. Responding, Chairperson of PASAN in the Rivers State House of Assembly, Comfort Obuene, while commending the Speaker and other principal officers, assured them of the workers' cooperation in the discharge of their legislative functions. Senate will on Saturday hold its valedictory session, signifying the end of the 9th Assembly. The decision to hold its last session was announced on Wednesday by the President of the Senate, Ahmad Lawan. He also said President Bola Tinubu will tomorrow afternoon meet with all senators-elect and their counterparts in the House of Representatives. President Bola Tinubu today inaugurated Senator George Akume as the Secretary to the Government of the Federation. The ceremony held at the Council Chambers of the State House as witnessed by the Vice President Kashim Shettima and some senior government officials. Speaking to journalists after the ceremony, the new SGF said it is an honor to be chosen to serve Nigerians.
To have been selected to serve in this exalted position, out of over 200 million Nigerians, is a challenge to serve in line with the oath I have taken today. I assure Nigerians I will do my best. I will not disappoint the President. I will not disappoint this country. I will not disappoint my party. I believe Nigerians will find fulfillment in my responsibilities as I discharge them in their own interest. Guided by Almighty God, I will do my best, and Nigerians will really have to reap the dividends of democracy.
The President also inaugurated Femi Gbajabiamila as Chief of Staff. Shortly after, Mr. Gbajabiamila gave a farewell speech during the valedictory session of the 9th House of Representatives today. He restated his commitment to public service ahead of assuming duties as the Chief of Staff on the 14th of June. Away from that, a human rights lawyer, Henry Ekine, says there is no violation of fundamental rights if the police compels a citizen to assist them in the arrest of a wanted person. Mr. Ekine said this in an interview with correspondent Emeka Otuka while reacting to complaint by a journalist, Chinedu Olu, who alleged that his life is at risk after being used by operatives of the State Criminal Investigative Department to arrest one Kingsley Woko, an indigene of Rumaolu community in Obiakpo local government area yesterday. The human rights lawyer said citizens are compelled by law to assist the police to prevent crime and also arrest criminal suspects. He explained that the citizen's right is said to be violated if the police forced, tortured, or intimidated the citizen in carrying out such civic responsibility.
So since in this case, they've explained to him, maybe he never even knew that he was in a position to assist the police in arresting the person, but they've explained to him that, look, this is the position you occupy by being in regular communication with this person. So apparently you're in a position to assist the police in arresting this person. And they told him how. The way you are going to assist the police in arresting this person is perhaps get into communication with him, invite him to where you are, or any means. But the entire purpose is explained to him. I do not think that the arresting authority has actually infringed on his right or has committed any offense known to law.
Reacting to this, the Secretary of the Nigeria Union of Journalists, NUJ, in Rivers State, Ike Wigodo, said the Commissioner of Police Monitoring Team told him this morning that Mr. Olu was not harassed or intimidated by the police and was released as soon as the suspect was arrested.
I was there personally today. From what I was told, that he had in contact with the guy based on the advert placement in their station. So if he needs to provide or to give useful information to the police, I don't think that is strong. We cannot work alone. We get information from police. We also get information from the society. So whichever that comes, it is our responsibility to ensure that all parties involved in carrying out their duties are maintained, because you cannot close up your source. A journalist does not work in isolation. He works with sources. And the way for you to maintain that good relationship is for you to make sure that all the avenues are kept open and in a cordial relationship.
Recalled that earlier, a journalist working in one of the radio stations in Port Harcourt, Chinedu Olu, raised an alarm over his safety after men of the State Criminal Investigation and Intelligence Department, SCIID, used him to lure and arrest Mr. Kingsley Woku. Some civil servants in the Rivers State Secretariat complex say they would prefer an increment in salary or an alternative means of transportation to a reduction of workdays. They were reacting to reduction of workdays as part of a measure to reduce the effect of the suffering of civil servants in Edo and Kwara states. They tell our correspondent that the reduction in workdays will adversely affect the effective They tell our correspondent that the reduction in workdays will adversely affect the effective delivery of services in the states.
Some of the people that stay from distance place to reach office at time they spend 500 just to come, while some people spend 600, come almost 1,200.
That reason is not okay. Our own brother, similarly, Fubar, should come to our own need. It's also for him to create that kind of transportation welfare for the workers, create a kind of a motto and bring it down at their own low level price, not as a private.
They should do something pertaining the salary. It's the salary that's number one priority, because even though you reduce it, you still spend that same money. Every day things are expensive in the market. Children's school, house rent, talking of transport fare.
Of course, 3 days is okay, except there will be an increment. If there will be an increment, of course, the 5 days could have been better so that to give an optimum service.
Recall that the governor of Edo State, Godwin Obaseki, and his counterpart in Kwara State, Abdurrahman Abdurazak, earlier announced a reduction of workdays of civil servants from 5 to 3 days weekly in the states. We go for a quick break. When we come back, the rest of the news. Stay tuned. Welcome back now to the rest of the news. A conference to educate journalists and prospective journalists on how to properly manage information in developing nations was held today at the University of Port Harcourt. Speaking to journalists at the event, the chairman of Journalism Educators Foundation, Professor Anyefiok Udo, says the aim of the foundation is to collaborate with journalists in the field.
As scholars, we research just to find out solutions to problems. When you research, there must be at least one problem for you to solve. We do research, we do community service, and we teach. The major aim of this foundation is to interact with journalism in the field so that we learn from them what is happening in the field, and then we also give to them what is happening in the classroom from the researches that we have made. 3 times since we started, we have given them free workshop.
Some participants spoke to our correspondent after the event.
It's been insightful. I think the most important thing is visibility. They can make the conference more visible, not just to, staff. Like I found it on the staff platform, but they should encourage also share it to student platforms. I would also encourage every student, whatever category fall in, to participate, because it's not just going to help boost your career, it's also going to help expose you to a whole lot of other things.
This conference gives us an insight of what it takes for you to become a real journalist, what concerns them and the role they can play in developing nations and how they can contribute towards communication accountability.
Students also at this point have come to know how effective communication as a tool is in economic recovery in this our nation, Nigeria.
Our correspondent reports that a conference organized by the Journalism Educators Foundation in collaboration with the Faculty of Communication and Media Studies, University of Port Harcourt, had the theme Communication, Accountability and Economic Recovery in Developing Nations. In business, major oil marketers and distributors have pledged their full support over the removal of fuel subsidy. The marketers made the pledge today during a courtesy visit on President Bola Tinubu. Speaking on their behalf, the chairman of the Depot and Petroleum Products Marketers Association of Nigeria, Winifred Akpani, said Nigerians will begin to feel the gains of the policy by July this year. While calling for alternate energy sources, she promised that the marketers will donate between 50 to 100 buses to help cushion the effects of the subsidy removal on the masses.
We have stopped feeding most of Africa. Already, the volumes have dropped. And it's not only because you're saying we can't afford transportation. It's only the man who has a Jeep that will spend 70,000 naira now to fuel his car. The man who doesn't have a car, all he needs is transportation. And to that extent, we recognize the fact that we have to have an effective mass transit system. A lot of jobs are going to be created. New businesses are going to come up. So for us, it was a very, very good meeting.
Meanwhile, President Tinubu has directed the National Economic Council to immediately begin sitting under the chairmanship of the Vice President, Kashim Shettima. More than 1 week after President Bola Tinubu announced an end to the fuel subsidies, some business owners say they are still finding it difficult to adapt to the realities of fuel subsidy removal. Some business owners who spoke to our correspondent said the situation is terribly affecting their businesses.
Yesterday, I buy fuel of 10,000 naira. Before I would drive to Eche, where I carry my client to inspect land at Eche, my light show red light. Why? It's something I used to buy fuel of 2,000 naira and where Eche come back.
My shop now, if somebody comes to buy something and you tell the person this has added money based on the fuel, because where we get the goods, the transportation and all that is very high. They'll say there is no way they can get the drugs that amount.
We are using the fuel to cut board. That is the only way it fit us, because when customer come now, when you tell the price of the cutting of the board, they could be they do argument, but they didn't have anything. God must surely help us.
It's not really easy on us, and I just pray that federal government should work on make the fuel come back to normal. We have refineries; they should make these things work.
Recall that petrol prices increased after the federal government scrapped petrol subsidy payments. E-hailing drivers under the aegis of the Amalgamated Union of App-Based Transport Workers of Nigeria have shut down operations over low fares. An e-hailing driver in Port Harcourt, Laurentia Ogu, tells our correspondent that the strike is in protest of the high commission rates set by ride-hailing service providers in Nigeria.
We, the boat drivers, are dissatisfied for reviewing quote of their prices in wake of the fuel hike because it does not reflect the current economic reality on ground. We work, we pay high commission to these e-hailing apps, we buy fuel at a very exorbitant price, and we go home with nothing. So basically, boat drivers are working for two things. They are working for fuel and they are working for boat commission. We have tried to write to these e-hailing apps. We have pleaded with them. We try to communicate our dissatisfaction, and they do not want to listen. So we decided that we are going to go on strike to get their attention.
In entertainment, rapper Nicki Minaj has been taken to court for allegedly refusing to pay for a borrowed custom jewelry she allegedly damaged. The rapper is being sued by West Hollywood jeweler who claims they loaned out some jewelry to the rapper. The jeweler claims some of those pieces came back damaged. In sports, Argentina legend Lionel Messi will join American side Inter Miami after his exit from French champions Paris Saint-Germain. The former Barcelona player is set to reject a more lucrative offer from Saudi Arabian side Al Hilal.
And now, we bring you news from around the world.
On the foreign scene, damage to the Kakova Dam has resulted in the flooding of 29 towns and villages along the Dnipro River. Thousands of people have been evacuated from their homes in the Kherson region after yesterday's breach. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky says hundreds of thousands of people have been left without drinking water, and officials say 42,000 are at flood risk. Kyiv and Moscow have accused each other of damaging the dam, claims they both deny. On the news this evening, you heard Rivers State House of Assembly has elected more principal officers. Senate to hold valedictory session on Saturday. President Tinubu meets all marketers over subsidy removal. Human rights lawyer says police can compel citizens to assist in arrest of wanted person. Oil marketers have backed the removal of fuel subsidy. Civil servants in Rivers State oppose reduction in workdays over fuel subsidy removal. Ride-hailing drivers begin nationwide strike. On the foreign scene, communities flooded after dam breach in Ukraine. The news was edited by Martha Okere Inkem. Light rain showers expected in Port Harcourt this evening. Peace is the path to the prosperity of a nation. Let peace reign. I am Kaladako Rubatbo. Good evening. Do stay tuned to 92.3 Nigeria Info.